Now, a 97-year-old, Irmgard Furchner, a former Nazi camp secretary, has been convicted of complicity in the murder of more than 10,000 people during the Holocaust. This likely to be the last trial connected to the World War II Nazi crimes against humanity. Now, joining us now for more on this is the managing director of the Coalition of Jewish Values, Rabbi Yaakov Menken. Rabbi, thank you for joining us again. It's lovely to talk to you. First of all, Chag Sameach, happy Hanukkah.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and happy Hanukkah.
Now, this is obviously, it's great that we're finally getting justice here against another Nazi here, but it's been a months-long trial against Furchner, a typist of Stutthof, who was assisting those in charge of killing inmates at the concentration camp, and it's now ended. Now, she received a 2-year suspended sentence here. What do you make of the outcome of that trial?
It's sort of an anticlimax because here we are at the end. This is perhaps the last Holocaust-era trial for crimes against humanity. And who are they trying? An 18-year-old secretary who, you have to wonder what took them so long. She was convicted partly on the basis of her husband's testimony that he knew that people were being gassed. If he knew that people were being gassed in the camps, there's just no way that she didn't know that also. And his testimony was in 1954. That's 68 years ago. So now they finally figured out, and you see the pictures of her. She's in a wheelchair now. They finally try her, and it's such an anticlimax in that she wasn't the mastermind of anything. She was a secretary. She was raised in a country that had indoctrinated her to believe that other people simply deserved to die. They deserved to be gassed. They thought they were doing a good thing for humanity. Imagine that for a minute.
Despite that, though, Rabbi, it's still taken, what? It's been 77 years since World War II has ended, and she's only going to trial now. She's had plenty of time to come out and express regret for these crimes, and she is only now, for the first time, said that she was sorry. So do you think that maybe it's a little bit too late here, and maybe she should have potentially been found guilty a little bit earlier, or maybe have even served a prison sentence?
It is definitely a matter of too little, too late, because here was a person who, again, she knew that people were being gassed. She knew this was an evil thing. People have come out of that insanity. I mean, she obviously was hiding from the truth for the longest time. But yes, there was definitely the time when she should have come forward and admitted that this was what had happened. But you have to think about what philosopher and Holocaust survivor Hannah Arendt called the banality of evil. She said, watching the Adolf Eichmann trial, and he was a much more significant figure in the Holocaust, and she said he was terrifyingly normal. People began to believe that they were doing the right thing, and here she is, like only now admitting that society, that she was insane, that she was crazy, that she did horrible things or allowed horrible things to go on around her because she thought it was the right thing to do.
I know, and that's the really scary part about that, unfortunately. And Rabbi, to end on a happier note here, we have entered Hanukkah now. What is your message to anyone watching as we celebrate the holiday season here?
Well, we can relate the two because Hanukkah was all about fighting back against a cultural war. In their case, it was a physical battle, not a spiritual one as we're waging today. But it's still a matter of a cultural war where people were saying, oh, let's go with the modern progressive values that the Greeks had brought in. And even though that stomped on the rights of others, and Jews saying, no, that can't be that way. We have to have our rights also. You have to think about what's going on in society around us and say that, obviously there has to be a pushback. And if you want the banality of evil, watch what's going on campus today. The idea that a girl can be murdered in her bed and deserved it, how are the people who say that so different than that secretary in Germany?
Absolutely. It is a scary world that we live in at the moment. But Rabbi Yaakov Menken, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.